All right, this week as I prompted AI to learn about financial and information systems, I was inspired, or I guess my idea was inspired by Acroft's hierarchy. So that's why I have 3 different shapes and that they're all 5 levels representing each level of Acroft's hierarchy. And AI as well as I was prompting it, I guess I had it combine Acroft's hierarchy with a lot of the principles it was sharing about financial and information systems, and I will include that as part of my post. So, right, these pyramids or structures, they have 5 layers to represent first data, information, knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and then as well, right, each of those correlates to things that we see in financial and information systems. For sake of me explaining, I'm just going to use a Lego store as examples of what business we're dealing with to make it easier for me to talk about, right? So in the bottom layer, our data layer, if we're a Lego store, this would just be things like us counting how many things we have in stock, how many times, right, certain blocks or certain sets sell, and all of that would just be raw data stored most likely in a database, and it is just sitting there. And then as we move up to the next layer, which is the information layer, this is things where we start to generate some sort of reports with that data, right? So at the end of each month, we might need to know how many sets of right? How many Star Wars sets did we sell? How many Power Rangers Lego sets did we sell? Those types of things would be in our information. And then as we go to knowledge, the next layer, the 3rd layer up, this would start to get some sort of historical data analysis involved, right? So this might be something like during Christmas, we see an increase in sales. This is the percentage which we see in sales. We're going to need to have X amount more in stock for that time of year. And technology-wise, right, this is where it starts to use things such as business intelligence and other softwares like that. Then as we go to the 4th layer is where we're in the layer of understanding now. And so this is where a lot more decisions are going to be happening and trying to understand causes of financial outcomes. And so this could correlate with marketing and any other type of models or scenarios that you could think of. This is where this would happen. And then at the top layer is the wisdom layer, which is where you start to try to predict and strategize as to what's going to happen in the future. And the reason I built 3 towers is because when I was thinking about these financial information systems, right, if we have a tower like on the left, if there's something that's going to disrupt this financial information system, it's going to be easily taken down, right? If for some reason we get a hole in our data, it's going to take the whole tower down. And so I guess when I'm thinking of this from a software perspective, everything needs to be integrated really well, because if you have all this data and it is a pain to build reports from that data, it's going to make it a lot harder to keep going up and up the layers. And right, same thing with the tower in the middle, right? It might have a really good database. We might have good reports and historical reports, but then as we start to get into some of these more predictive modeling, right? If those aren't done well and they don't integrate well to the lower layers, again, something that's going to come in and disrupt this business could easily, get the business off track. And then to the one on the right, this would be the ideal financial and information system where everything is correlated and connected, right? Anytime we get new data, we're able to build new reports. We're able to start to analyze it on a historical basis and then make predictive assumptions about what we can do in the future to best help our company. And so that was my thoughts on financial and information systems and what I learned this week. Thanks.